Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Catherine, Tracy's bestie.
Yes. We always giggle about that. That's so funny. We're like two little fourth graders. You're my bestie.
I think that's
and
why
I'm
we
your
giggle.
bestie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in our 50s.
Yeah.
Well,
and since I'm not a comedian, or I got to say something.
yeah, you
Okay.
do. You do. Well, welcome. If you're tuning in for the first time, Catherine and I would like to welcome you to our broadcast, our episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording today episode number 34,
Wonderful.
in case you're counting. And the topic of today's episode is travel.
Yeah. We've
Yeah.
done a lot.
Yeah, we have. Not so much recently because of
Mm-hmm.
COVID. However, hope is on the horizon.
Yes.
And we're going to be getting out there again. And so we have some tips from things that we've learned. And in fact, we've got a couple takeaways from for our episode today, and we're calling it Apps, Maps, and Mishaps.
Mm-hmm.
I think
It's catchy.
It is catchy.
Yeah, I like it.
It's actually kind of a tongue twister. So
It can be.
it's a catchy tongue twister.
Yeah.
Don't try to say it 3 times fast because I don't think you'll be able to.
Yeah. You don't have to say it at all, actually.
No.
Unless you're telling someone else about it, which we hope you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please share our podcast.
And this is different than our other episode that was about traveling. I forgot what we called it, actually. Vacations, how to travel cheap or something like that.
Yeah, vacations
so this
on the
is,
cheap.
Yeah, check that one out as well. But this one is different.
Yeah, this one is more so for us anyway. We travel for ministry because this is what we do. When we travel, we have a purpose. So this would be for like work travel, or if you're going on a road trip with the family, maybe not necessarily a vacation. Maybe you just have to go visit your mother.
Different purposes.
Boys, I'm talking to my boys. They don't.
I
listen.
saw that in your face.
Yeah, they don't listen to this podcast. They're tired of listening to my voice. I have 5 grown sons, if you're new to the listenership. And thankfully, they are grown. 2 of them still live with us, but they're on their way out. Like, they've each got 1 foot out the door. We could be empty nesters within the next couple of months. I'm like, whoa, what are we going to do?
I'm a little jealous. Envious. A little bit. Not totally.
Right.
A little bit.
But you know what they say out there? They say that they come back. So who knows? Once they're out, they might come back.
Well, Adam already did
No, he did.
come back.
I know, and I've got 5 of them that could go out and come back. Be like a big revolving door. Well, we're going to get a trailer and move. We're going to live out of a trailer in a campground. So apps, maps, and mishaps. That's what we do here on this podcast is we take a topic. Like I said, for today, it's travel. And we try to give you something that you can take away from it. We try to have a couple of good takeaways. And we do our best to bring the information in an entertaining way. And we share stories, all true, by the way. Maybe exaggerated sometimes, but true for the most part. They're all true. They're all true. You're not an exaggerator, but I kind of am.
I was just thinking, like, I don't think we exaggerate.
You don't. I'm a little bit more of a drama mama, but that's why I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm the baby in the family. I had to get my attention somehow. All right, so we take a topic, we bring it in an entertaining way, and then we follow the podcast at the end with just a little bit of spiritual encouragement. So that's our format. And we have sponsors. We have 2 sponsors. Their names are Muffin and Pooh.
Kenny and Ron. Ron and Kenny.
Our husbands.
Yeah.
And we call them our sponsors because we have roofs over our head.
Because
We're grateful.
we couldn't do this if they weren't
On board.
working and sponsor. It's sponsorship.
It is. Because we don't have JOBs.
Right.
Whatever. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and start with apps, Catherine.
Yeah.
Lots of apps. There's an app for that. There's an app for everything.
There literally is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing some, research like I always do before the podcast, and I came across some that I hadn't heard before. I thought, oh, these are great. So then we just used them on our recent trip to when I took my daughter Emily down to Florida. And that one, well, I started out before we even left with Mapquest, which I think most people know that one. And then, but I also thought, we needed to find a place to stop halfway between here in Illinois to Florida, like near Orlando. And what was the halfway place? Well, next thing I knew, this really great website gave 5 different apps that one could use for these kinds of things. They're nice tools. And this was What's Halfway Between? No. What's it called?
What's Halfway?
What's Halfway. That's right.
And so that app, if you just put in the 2 destinations where you start and where you finish, it's going to give you some suggestions of what might be halfway, and then you can go from there to plan your stop.
Yeah, and whether it's just you just want a pit stop or you want to stay overnight, it's got everything that you need.
That's kind of nice.
It was great. Yeah.
You know, that would have come in handy for me during the pandemic when our son Luke, who lives in Illinois, but he lives in Normal, Illinois, and we live in Peatone, Illinois. And we were trying to find a place halfway to meet because we hadn't seen each other in forever. But we needed to find a place where we could safely do that, you know. And that was just when restaurants were just starting to reopen. Some of them were more open than others.
Yeah.
So an app like that would have come in handy for that.
Yeah.
But we ended up finding a Monocles that was open, and it was a real dead Monocles anyway. It was like super dead. It's like, well, is this just how you roll normally? But it was good. I love their pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's Halfway? That's the name of that app. All right. What's another one?
Iexit. We used that one. That one was great. That one. Now we will say disclaimer. Well, not our disclaimer. It's theirs.
Yeah.
That the driver cannot use it when he or she is driving. It has to be a passenger using it, and it is one that you would use while you're on the road. I think the highway in particular.
Well,
or
and
a major route.
It comes in handy the way that Catherine and I used Iexit, especially when we were on our way home from Florida. We were hungry, which is often the case. And we didn't want just fast food. We didn't want to just stop somewhere and get like a burger at a McDonald's or something. So we wanted to go in, sit down, have a decent, healthy meal. And we were looking specifically for an Applebee's because we both like that type of food.
Well, it started out with, I think, Cracker Barrel. Then
I like Cracker Barrel, but there's too many temptations at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Both for food and clothes. Like I could get lost in their little gift shop.
Oh, guilty.
I know. I love their stuff. Anyway, so we were looking for an Applebee's. Yeah. And what you can do on this Iexit map is it tracks with you. So you choose what highway you're on, and then it tracks with you what the exits are that are coming up. And that way you can look and like, I think we were trying to plan out our stop strategically because we didn't want to eat too soon, but we didn't want to eat too late. And
we wanted to get gas.
Yeah. And oftentimes you have to navigate traffic around big cities. Like when we go around Nashville and Atlanta,
yeah,
you don't want to be in the middle of Goofy Town.
That's true.
At the time of day when everybody's...
Yeah. And what makes this app so nice, better than talking into Siri or Google and saying, restaurant nearest me, it'll give you a restaurant that's close, but it could be behind you.
Make a U-turn.
Yeah,
what?
In the opposite direction.
Yeah, you don't
Whereas
want that.
Iexit knows which direction you're going.
Right. Yeah. And so you can look ahead, and it'll tell you everything you want to know about that exit. So if you just want coffee, it'll tell you all the coffee that's there, all the restaurants, lodging, gas. And did it tell us prices of gas?
I don't recall.
I don't recall that either. But it's just helpful information. But you do have to have a co-pilot.
Absolutely, because you do have to navigate around in it.
Yeah,
and just like Tracy said, you have to press because there'll be different routes that are near you, and the one will be flashing like, I think this is the one you're on. And then you have to click on it. Yeah, and you have to look at, okay, do you want to press the food one, the gas one, the accommodations one? So you have to really be looking at it.
Yeah, but it was helpful.
Oh, very.
It was. There were some little quirks with it, but, whatever.
Yeah.
Life is tough. All right, what else do we use for apps?
I think we use Meetways was a good one. And although I didn't actually use it, I read about it, and it will solve the problem when you have two parties that have to meet up somewhere, and you want to find, and it's almost like What's Halfway, but I think it has more specifics regarding like a safe place for you to meet and then take off from there.
Yeah, that's helpful too.
That was a good one.
Very good. You know, one app that we found that didn't pertain to everybody's travel, but certainly pertains to you and I when we travel. We love.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we love to go to Goodwill.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
It's almost like an obsession.
Yeah,
kind
almost. Not quite our idol, thankfully.
Right. But we enjoy it, and it's fun. And so everywhere we go, it's cheap, it's fun. It's like a little hobby. It's almost like a little hunt.
We want Goodwill to sponsor us.
Yeah.
So Goodwill, if you're listening.
Yeah, we'd be good ambassadors.
Mr. Goodwill.
We're already ambassadors for Goodwill.
We take a picture in front of everyone that we go to.
We do, pretty much. But it's like a little activity. It's a little hobby of just going to Goodwill and just seeing what you can see. And sometimes we even limit our time and we go, okay, we've got 10 minutes because we really do have to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Our husbands are like, they're missing again.
Yeah. So we found an app. It's the Goodwill app, and you can put into the app what area you're in, and it'll show you all the Goodwills.
Yeah.
And then you just press on the little map where the Goodwill is, and it tells you when they're open and all that stuff. So we did go to a Goodwill. Was that in Tennessee?
Oh my goodness. On the way home. Yes, because we were where Kimmy Maui.
That's right. What's the name of that town?
It's Clarksville.
Clarksville, Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we were. That's where I bought those books that I wanted to throw out the window, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you started reading them when it was my turn to drive.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
we were like, throw it out.
But I didn't. They're on my kitchen table.
Yeah.
They were $1. Anyway, all right. So we talked about Meetways. We talked about Iexit, the Goodwill app.
Waze.
Well, Waze, we don't really use Waze that much, and maybe we should.
We should.
Everybody talks about Waze and how great it is.
I have used it, but I think at the time there was something that popped up that I wasn't used to.
Yeah. But if you're not familiar with Waze, it's just a navigation app, and it's fed into by actual people on the road. So if there's a car that's off on the shoulder, Waze will say, caution, there's a car off on the shoulder, blah, blah, blah.
You know, talking about this reminded me that just recently, friends of ours in England had reached out to me and said that their Waze app sounds exactly like my dad.
Really?
Yeah. And when she said, Mandy said this, and when she said it, she's like, and our Josh, which is their son, says that as well. And she said, like, it sounds just like your dad, which
that's funny.
Made me feel good because my dad is gone now.
Yeah.
And,
that's funny. And your daughter, when we were on our way to Orlando, Catherine's daughter, who, by the way, we're so proud of her. I mean, everybody from her whole world is so proud of her because she's in the Disney college program.
Yeah.
And so she starts work now. She just started a day or two ago, and she's excited. And she's going to have a great time.
Yeah. And I forgot to tell you this, Tracy. I was encouraged this morning because the technician that I was talking to this morning, she was telling me that her nieces and somebody else that she knew that did the same program ended up, they actually work for Disney now. And she said that it's pretty promising for those students. Yeah. And the one niece works for corporate Disney.
Yeah.
So.
And we learned some things on the way home from Orlando because we had a long drive, 2 days of driving there, and then we were there for a few days, and then 2 days of driving back. Well, we were running out of things to say and do. So we were Googling stuff about Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And we read all the stuff about his life, and then we were Googling stuff about the Disney college program. And it's quite elite. And there are only 20% of the students who apply for it get in. And to have your Emily be one of those 20%, you know, there were 80% of the applications that were disappointed by, you know, them not having a slot for them. And then COVID shut everything down because she was supposed to be reporting for duty at Disney, you know, right when the pandemic was still in the heights of everything. I know we're still in it now, I'm sad to say, but it was worse last summer.
It was. In 2020, definitely.
Yeah.
But yes, we're so proud of Emily. Shout out to Emily.
Yeah, so great job. All right. So we talked about the Goodwill app. Okay, that's it for apps. Let's go to maps. Let's talk about the maps.
Yes.
Catherine loves paper. Tell our audience.
I do. I love paper calendars.
Yes.
I love even note taking. I prefer to do it, pen and paper. Just
And if you haven't heard our episode on the 80s, please tune in because you will learn that Catherine took notes during a concert.
A rock concert.
Please listen to that episode. It is hilarious.
It is good.
Yeah. When you revealed that to me, I thought, you are a certain kind of special, Catherine. I don't know
what that means, but
it means I love you. All right, so maps.
Yeah. Again, love paper. So I used to use maps a lot, like that. Actually,
everybody did.
Well, true, but I think some possibly more than others. Like I used to study it, which Tracy's making fun of me by making a face.
My eyes. Okay, but now, so
that's
now,
what I mean exactly, by the way,
Oh.
of some people look at it more than others.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now here we are in technology world, so
Yeah.
we have GPS. Why would one want a paper map?
What if a terrorist shuts the grid down?
It could happen.
Oh, I know that's like...
No, it could happen. You got to be prepared.
Right. Or more likely, if you lose internet, which that's happened to us, like in the mountains.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Or what if your battery dies and you don't have any way to charge your apparatus?
That's right. You need to know how to read a map. When we were on the way down so right before Florida, we actually went to Tennessee. Myself, my sister, my mom, and my 2 daughters. And my daughter, Emily, who is brilliant at many things. She has a couple of podcasts, just putting that out there. But anyway, that's not why she's brilliant. But she just, anyway.
Yeah, because it takes
Tracy's
a lot of brilliance to put on a podcast.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, what I meant was she's bright.
What happened with the map? Just get to it.
But with the map, I'm like, you know how to read that, right? She's like, So when a girl makes a noise, it can mean many different things. In this case, it meant no. Why would I need to know that?
Right.
That's what it meant.
Right.
Yeah. So, but we needed it.
Right. And Catherine, to your credit, you looked at, like when we were going, you looked at everything ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew where we were going.
Yeah.
Where I, on the other hand, I just got in and shut the door. I'm like, I'm ready. Where are we going?
Yeah. Well, I think that I wanted to go back to the paper maps because also you and I have got lost a few times with the GPS.
That's
For
true.
some reason, the GPS misunderstood us or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know which route we were going. I also wanted to go this particular route because it was going to be better,
We took not an interstate. We took a highway.
A route, yeah.
For most of our trip, which was great for us because we were still able to travel at a decent speed, but we weren't surrounded by semi-trucks and stuck in traffic. But sometimes when you tell the GPS, get me to Orlando, it's going to take you to the interstate.
Right, and we realize you can set the settings to say,
We do?
Yeah, you could set it to say...
Oh, well, you realize that.
Oh, I thought you did too.
Don't. No, I got to shut the door. That's what I got.
Yeah, it can't shut the door.
I realized
Put
that.
your
I'm
belt
in.
on.
I'm buckled. Where are we going?
Right.
How are we getting there? I don't know.
Yeah, you can arrange it so that it won't take you on the interstate. But I just wanted to go this particular route because the choices were 3 different ones, and we like to see America. And it actually happened to be that it was faster than the interstate.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
To drive through southern Indiana and then into Kentucky and into Tennessee and be able to just look at all the beautiful surroundings. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. Plus, we have to go to the bathroom so often and get coffee so often.
Right, and that's a catch-22.
They go hand in hand.
Coffee, bathroom, coffee, bathroom.
It's easier.
Okay, so the paper map.
Yeah.
The encouragement is to have an atlas, a current atlas in your vehicle, know where you're going, and know how to read the thing.
Yeah. Learn how to look up the cities. Yeah. So say you're going to Athens, Tennessee. Learn how to do, it's like bingo. A, 4.
You have to know the alphabet, and you find Athens, and then, yeah. All right, well, that's helpful. Okay, now we've gone over apps and maps. What about mishaps?
Oh, we've had mishaps, which is why we wanted to do this podcast.
Right.
Because, well, it's a little bit entertaining.
That's a lot entertaining.
Yeah.
To tell your failures. That's what people live for, is to hear other people's failures.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear about all your success. No, yawn snooze.
Yeah.
Tell me your failures.
Yeah, here we are on Facebook. Oh, they succeeded. Their kids succeeded.
Right.
Their
nauseous.
their grandkids look great.
Right. They just lost 50 pounds. Great.
What
Lovely.
other good news do you have? Tell me.
But the mishaps, how about the time, and I know we've shared this before, but in case somebody hasn't heard it, the time that we were in Southern Illinois and we were heading toward Alabama and we wanted to go to the nearest Goodwill. So we just said to Siri, nearest Goodwill. And she went, take a left. And so we did.
So it said, okay.
We didn't bother looking at a darn thing.
It didn't.
And pretty soon we could see this big arch. Not 2 arches like McDonald's, but one giant arch.
Right.
And I went, how many cities have that?
She literally said that.
I did. Because it was St. Louis. And I'm like, well, maybe there's another one that has an arch that I haven't heard of.
No.
Right. And so that was the opposite direction of we were not supposed to be going to St. Louis.
No.
We were supposed to be going the other way. But now we're here. There's the arch. We're here. There's the Goodwill. So now we got to go.
So thankfully we left, enough room for accidents like that.
Right, because it was quite fun.
Yeah.
And then we had the time when the GPS was fighting. One was male, one was female.
Oh my goodness.
We
laughed
weird.
So hard. My stomach hurt.
Yeah, we did because we had the same address plugged into both of our GPSs. One of ours was programmed to be a male voice and one was a female voice, and they literally were arguing.
Literally had opposite directions.
Yes. And we couldn't believe it. We're like, well, what genius put this together? Right. Wait, it sounds just like something familiar. Where have I heard this argument before?
Oh, my gosh. It was so funny.
It was.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Okay, here's another mishap. What about all the times that we've stopped when maybe, I don't know if we should stop,
Oh, yeah, we've done some questionable
We're
things.
kind of addicted to thrifting and finding like not only Goodwill, but also like flea markets and antique malls. And where were we where we saw the pickup trucks? Okay. Yeah.
Kentucky.
The pickup trucks, they were just like pulled over along the side of the road and there was no sign that said flea market. It was just like 10 or 12 trucks there.
Yep.
And they all were selling stuff out of their truck.
Right on the shoulder of the road.
Yeah. They could have been selling drugs, Catherine. We don't know.
They probably were. Maybe they were.
Maybe it was a front. But we get out. Here we come.
Yeah.
And we get out. What did he say?
He's like, girl, what you saying?
Yeah. Which is code for, you want some drugs?
Yeah.
And we just go, oh, I don't know. What are you saying?
What say you, sir?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Oh, they were great people.
They were, but all that to say, just be careful out there, especially if you're just two dumb broads driving down the road.
Remember that time? I don't remember where we were going. I think Alabama, actually. And Kenny prayed for us before we left, and he prayed that we would be aware of our surroundings.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Because he knows us.
Yes. Well, remember the time that we pulled in and then we pulled out real quick because we saw it was just a man and he had a dog tied up to a rope around a tree.
Yeah.
And we thought, it just looks like the end. It looks like nighttime. Like I could see a headline, 2 Illinois women die.
Oh, the poor dog was in like psychotic circles around the
and if somebody's treating a dog like that, what do you think they're going to do to anyway? So he comes out of his house or hut or whatever it was, and there was stuff everywhere, and it looked like he had set up for a garage sale. But I have a feeling now, hindsight, that's just the way it always is.
Yeah, we thought it was a garage sale. Even though there was no sign.
Right. And then he had a chain or something that like people couldn't cross, but he came out to remove it. And then we're like, oh no, we're out. So we backed out and left in a hurry. I'm like, see ya.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah, it was. But it wasn't that smart to just stop because we might have been lured into who knows what.
We didn't stop. We were like, he had a really long driveway and we didn't go up it.
Yeah, but remember the time that we went up in the guy's attic?
That was a different time. Yes.
We went up in the attic to look at something?
God.
How dumb are we?
We're so dumb.
Don't do that,
he
friends.
Could have totally overtook us.
Yes.
So we were in the woods. At a garage sale.
Sounds worse as you say it.
Well, it was. I mean, it was a residential area.
Still.
But it was woodsy.
We don't know
and
these
he's like,
people.
oh, yeah, I got some cool stuff up here. We're like, oh,
right.
Cool.
Want to help me find my puppy?
We did it another time, too.
When?
In Indiana, when the guy says, I have a clawfoot bathtub.
I remember that.
Come into the
we
house.
Went and looked at I'm sorry. I forgot about that. We're lucky to be alive.
I know.
We're lucky. Lord, thank you for protecting us.
Yes.
Don't be like us. Don't do that.
These are our mishaps.
Yes, please don't.
We won't do it again. We
No.
promise, Lord.
Jesus. Oh, sorry. All right. Well,
what else have we got?
We've got car trouble.
Oh. Tracy's
trouble.
car dies, or not
my
her
new
current car.
I have a new car
but
now.
she had a car that we thought was smart to take to. Oh, we thought we were smart when we took it all the way
to Tennessee.
Actually, it's our husbands let us. I mean, they were like,
Yes.
"Yeah, you're fine."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, and it had a history of dying, but you never knew when it was going to die.
Yes.
Well, it died in the middle of
Franklin, Tennessee.
which is a very nice.
Affluent.
Upscale.
Yeah. People's
area.
cars don't usually die there.
Right.
Nobody usually dies there. It's very safe.
Right.
There's no clawfoot tubs and people in them,
Yeah.
But my car just died in the middle of traffic.
It was so scary.
It was.
It really was. And was it at that point or before then when we started to like pet the
Laminated Jesus?
laminated Jesus that we put on the dashboard? No, it was before that. We were doing that before that, but
yeah.
I just remember saying, "Oh,
Jesus, help us."
yeah."
And we'll talk about laminated Jesus in just a second. But what happened in this particular incident, the car stopped, the traffic kept going. Thankfully, we were able to gimp off the main thoroughfare of where we were. And we were kind of on a little entryway into the strip mall, but then the car just wouldn't go any further because I think there was an incline.
I was just going to say,
gravity
but it
was
had
saying,
an
no, you
incline.
ain't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. How did we gimp over? I think you turned the car off and, oh no, it died.
It died,
restarted.
but something, I don't remember now how we got off out of the real busyness of it, but then I called my husband because I don't know what else to do. And he's in Illinois, we're in Tennessee. And I go, what should I do? And he goes, yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. I'm like, well, okay, that would have been helpful information.
Just so the listeners know, he does love her very much.
He does. And then he goes, well, pop the hood and take a picture of the engine and send it to me through the phone. So I'm like, okay. So I did that. And then he goes, I don't know. I was like, ah. He didn't know. So then he goes, just try starting it up again, see what happens. So we started it up again and it started. And he said, just get in it and just keep driving. So that's what we did.
Well, wasn't there something with, we stopped at a gas station. We needed to find diesel.
Yeah, because it was a diesel
car. I think the gas station attendant also had some advice too, didn't he?
Well, we were trying to find diesel and we couldn't find a gas station that had diesel. And then that guy was trying to look up on his little thing, which, by the way, on that Iexit thing, you if you own a diesel vehicle, you can find the stations that have diesel because not all of them do.
Right.
And then this didn't happen on that trip, but it did happen with that car. Eventually, not too long after that, so it had the stopping issue, but then the car just quit going in reverse. Whatever it is that made the car go in reverse, it just didn't work anymore. Yeah. So then I had to drive the car forward. but you can't back up.
How did we get anywhere? How did you get anywhere?
I remember one time, the only time that it was really a hassle, I had to go to the bathroom really bad. I couldn't make it home. I had to stop somewhere, and I pulled into the McDonald's at Laraway Road in New Lenox, not far from here, and all of the parking spaces at McDonald's are the diagonal kind, the kind that you pull into, and you have to have reverse on your car to get it out. So I had to park and take up 3 parking spaces. Like my car is fancy. Yeah. I drive this really old, broken down, doesn't start, doesn't have reverse car, but I'm going to hog these 3 spaces because I had to go to the bathroom. I had to go in, use the bathroom, come out, and be able to drive away.
Be able to just pull out.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And then, I drove that car like that for a long time. And that's where Laminated Jesus really came in handy. Laminated Jesus is just a picture of Jesus that we kept on the dashboard to pray for safety, protection, for the car to start, to keep going, for the wheels to stay on, for the steering wheel not to come off.
And not that it possesses any, special supernatural, but it's just a reminder and a comfort.
He's with
for
us.
Yeah. Actually, I remember I had it in my SUV long before that.
Yeah, you were the one who started Laminated Jesus. When we were
for fun, and for kind of like a comfort in a way.
Like we're halfway there.
We're halfway there. We're living on a prayer. Yeah.
Good memories, Catherine.
Yeah.
Look at the faithfulness, though, of God.
Yeah.
He's faithful.
I was just thinking that, like, wow, gosh.
He's faithful. He overcame our stupidity, right? To help us stay protected, to stay safe. He got us to this point where we're like, okay, well, we're not going to stop anymore for these flea markets and all this stuff. And we're going to try to drive a car that goes forward and back.
Exactly. Because he's like, these two Thelma and Louise, they're not learning.
They're going to make it.
Right.
Oh, gosh. Well, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share before we go to our scripture?
In my notes, I just have here, I think this is fun to just mention. It's a fun thing. So sometimes if we have time. Uh-oh.
What'd you do?
I don't know. Okay, what's going on? Well, it's better now. Like it was something over here.
Move your folder for that.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was...
Hopefully people can still hear us.
Anyway.
It's still recording?
Oh, yeah, it's still recording.
So what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that sometimes when we have time, we like to stop at places, like we mentioned. And in this one case, we were in just middle of nowhere in Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened to be this guy who owned this antique place said he was Nick Nolte's cousin.
Right.
Which he could,
maybe
we realized he could have been blowing smoke.
Yeah.
Or
something else. Yeah.
Oh, or something else, true. But he certainly did look like him.
He did.
And even
his mannerisms were very Nolte-ish.
His whole demeanor.
Yeah, and he did share some information that just made us feel like, oh yeah, he's got to be. Mm-hmm. And that was it. You just never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just fun.
And remember when we were in Chattanooga that one time for the breast cancer event that I did there?
Yeah.
And we interviewed the girl on that walking bridge?
Yes, I do.
That was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually came up with tray walking. Catherine's idea. Tell our audience what the concept is.
I think that what we should do, so Jay Leno used to do in his monologue, he used to do this bit called jaywalking, and he would go around and he would interview people on different subjects. And the unique thing about it was that his name was Jay, and there's the thing called jaywalking when you walk across the street or something like that. So Tracy is also nicknamed Trey, and so we thought a similar concept of interviewing people and asking them questions for whatever subject that we're working on for the podcast or whatever, and calling it Trey walking.
Yeah. I think that'll be fun. We're going to have to implement that. Okay, anything else before we go to the scripture?
Nothing major.
All right. Well, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 8 says this. Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged.
Amen.
You can take that to the bank.
I can live by that.
That is the truth. All right, a call to action from this episode of Life Happens, Laugh Anyway. We would just like to encourage everybody to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Just go somewhere.
Enough of the staycation. That was kind of a thing for a while. If you can.
Go somewhere and do it in the most positive way that you can possibly imagine. Plan it out. Mm-hmm. Use some of these apps. Stay away from some things that you should stay away from. Mm-hmm. And enjoy. Enjoy life. Yeah. Enjoy your family.
Life's a journey anyway.
It is. And just know that Jesus is with you. Mm-hmm. All right. Our next episode is it too late to change careers?
Oh, never too late, I would say.
Is it too late to write a book or go back to school? So basically that's going to be our next episode is on, is it too late? Like, have you missed your window? Mm-hmm. I say no.
What happened to our diary episode? Where is that in the line? We pushed
it to the end
because,
yeah, we're so organized. We actually are pretty organized. Yeah. We have a list of topics. By the way, if you have a topic that you would like to hear from us, send us a message on our social media, or I don't know how you do it, but just send us a message some way, somehow. And we'll try to put it into the repertoire. But we have everything planned out all the way through the end of 2021. And when we chose to do this travel episode, because we were traveling, that meant that everything had to be bumped down one. So we just took out diaries and put it at the end because I didn't want to have to go back and number everything.
Oh, there's always
there's a
Tracy definitely finds creative ways to make it more simple.
Yeah, I do try to find the easiest way.
Yeah, you do.
Because you probably would have gone back in and renumbered
I probably would have.
That's okay, too. All right, well, you've been listening to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Catherine.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.